Welcome to Suppose, a podcast where authors discuss the extraordinary. I'm James P. Hassel,
And I'm Sarah Jean.
and we're authors with wearetheapex.com. And this week's subject is Suppose spirits really exist,
hmm
which I think is fun because I think almost everyone has an opinion.
Everybody does have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It it depends on who they are and whether that opinion gets ugly or not.
Oh, well, yeah. I think that goes for every opinion, especially with, if you've been on social media in the past 2 weeks.
True enough. Opinions are like assholes.
Everyone has one. No one wants to hear them.
Exactly. Here we are expounding on our opinions, though, of course, on this topic.
I know.
So, what is your? Let's start with a baseline here. What is your opinion on spirits?
My opinion is there are no spirits. It's a really nice belief. I would want to believe in it. I would really like some proof of it, but
hmm
I, it's just ever since camera phones were invented, you hear a lot less about them.
I don't think so.
I've heard less about them.
I
I mean, the most I've heard lately, and by lately I mean past 3 years maybe,
hmm
is here's the spirit we caught on film, and then there's
It's Photoshop.
5 videos debunking it.
Yeah, well, that is true. Yeah, like the Boo review does that, and I find that hilarious. I
hmm
enjoy watching those two goofballs. And
Yeah, they are awesome. There's another guy who I will not try to pronounce his name. He is also awesome. I think he's also like Icelandish or something.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, there's no way you're gonna be able to do that.
no.
You'll just sound really ignorant.
Yes, so I just
Yeah,
maybe I'll put a link in the description below somewhere.
there you go.
But he's
Yeah.
also awesome. But yeah, that's I don't know. I'm a proof kind of guy. I don't see spirits. I don't feel spirits. I don't believe in spirits.
hmm
And that's just me.
You are very intellectually minded
Hmm.
as far as that goes. It's not a lot of. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say you don't have intuition, because you certainly do. But you're really hard intellectual when it's intuition based.
Yes.
I don't. Does that even make any sense? Because I don't know what that means.
A little bit. I follow intuitions, and I'm usually good about that. But I don't instinctually believe anything. I follow the intuition to see if I'm going the right way.
hmm Yeah. And you'll have intuitions about people or something that's
Yes.
going on, and you'll tell me about it, and oftentimes I get pissed, and I'm like, "No, you're wrong." And then it's like, "Damn it, you were right," but not always right.
Not
But
always, no, and it may take a month or two.
yeah, it does sometimes take a month or two before I'm like, "Ah, shit, you were right."
Yeah.
Because
Which.
I don't like going at it complete. I'm not irrational
Hmm.
per se. Well, and when I am irrational, I'm very aware that I am being irrational and just revel in it, like bathing in ice cream. You're gonna do it, you just have to do it. So that's my irrationality.
If it's then
Um,
you get sticky and it's not fun.
no, but if I'm gonna be irrational about something, it's usually something ridiculous, and so. But I want to assume the best in people, and that's where we tend to get. You have a better insight in people, and don't get duped as often as I do, I think.
Yeah, which I want to say is a good thing, but not really. I don't like
Yes.
being right on those kinds of things.
No, yeah, it would be nice if people were just nicer to each other and
Yeah,
not quite such jerks.
that
And
that would be incredibly awesome.
yeah,
And it's just like I'm not. I am intellectual about these things, but I'm not exactly closed-minded.
no,
I don't disbelieve just for the hell of it and say nothing can ever change my mind.
yeah, that annoys me when people do that. It's
Yeah,
like it's like an old saying: if you can't change your mind, maybe you don't have a mind to change.
pretty
And
much.
I think that's basically true. If you cannot put yourself in a place where you can conceive of changing your mind, then what is the point?
Yeah, you've just lost the argument at that point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
So
what it is. If you can't change your mind, then yeah, go away.
I'm totally um, accepting of disagreeing with somebody, and I don't always have to get or understand that where they're coming from.
Hmm.
I try to though, because I like to think that if you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes, that's more of your own fault than theirs.
Yeah. And
And
I don't mind disagreement. I think disagreement's a good thing. But if you come at it from the angle of I'm going to disagree no matter what, then
yeah, then you're just a disagreeable asshat.
yeah, it gets toxic at some point.
And exhausting. Because
Yes.
it's just exhausting. You may not ever change your mind. I watched a discussion between Sam Harris and Fareed Zakar about Islam.
Oh,
And
was that the infamous podcast of Sam Harris?
I
What
I don't know if it was infamous or not.
was it? About
It
two
was
and
an
a
int-
half hours of them just butting heads?
I don't know if it was that long.
Okay.
It might have been though, but it was interesting. They definitely butted heads and they didn't agree, and Sam didn't really give an inch
Hmm.
as far as that goes. And I didn't expect him to. I feel like in this area he's a little more closed off, and I felt like Fareed had a better nuance of this human situation
Hmm.
that that was being missed, because you can't make religion about science. It's not about science. It's about feelings and about culture,
Yes.
and that's nuance. That's not black and white.
But
So,
and
but
I'm gonna
he
throw in a
has
but.
points. I think Sam is absolutely right that there are lots of problems
Hmm.
with religion, and I don't mean just Islam. I mean every religion.
Yeah.
So
And I think when Sam Harris is arguing that kind of point, he's leaning towards he's speaking of policy and immigration and culture.
yes,
He's thinking very big picture.
he is.
And while the small picture's fun and it's good and it's necessary and nuance is needed in individual cases, they were
Yeah,
having two different conversations.
they really were. You're right. They really were. Now that I think about it, they were not. They were on two separate parallel roads, yelling at each other across the way.
Yes.
And never did they meet.
No,
So,
not at all.
but I mean, Sam had great points, and so did Fareed, and it was a fascinating.
Hmm.
And I don't agree with Sam Harris on religion in all respects, or I don't even know if I don't know what enough of his opinions to really say that at all. But yeah, so I was more swayed by what Freed was saying. So because I am religious,
Hmm.
I do believe in God as such, and I go to church every week, and that's important to me in my life. So for me, a spirit is not out of the realm of possibility.
Well, see, that's when we start to get into more, I hate the word, but I'm going to say it anyway, nuanced conversation of what we mean by spirit.
Sure. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things, and I actually, because I am sensitive to some things,
Mhm.
I'm very sensitive to a lot of things. People's feelings can make me feel terrible. I don't even have to know that somebody is sick, and I can start to feel sick. And then it's like, man, my head's hurting or whatever, and somebody else be like, mine too, and it's like, well, crap, I just
Yeah.
caught your headache. Thank you. And as crazy as that sounds, it's been something that has
It's,
been a problem since I was very small.
it's also been documented in other people.
Has it?
Yes.
There's like actual documentation? Really?
I believe so. There are many stories I've heard of super emphatic people
Mhm.
who can catch a feeling. And yeah, I don't know if it's been tested per se, but it
Well, that would
has
be hard
been
to test.
documented.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that hard to test in certain ways. I mean, just like you said, you randomly assign, people who are feeling a certain way or sick and see if the other person catches it or not.
Yeah.
Make it
Okay.
make it blind, make it, some people are not feeling too much of anything and if.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a friend whose child was sick,
Hmm.
and he didn't speak. So, I didn't know exactly what he was feeling, but I described what I picked him up and I was holding him and I started to feel like somebody was strangling me from the inside. And I described it to his mother and she kind of, she just kind of stared at me and went a little white. She's like, that's exactly what the doctors say it would feel like.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay then. Well,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. I don't care. At this
Hmm.
point, I used to care if people believed me or not, but I just don't care at this point.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I have to be careful about who I'm around and who I associate with and who I put myself next to and how long I'm exposed to people because
Yeah.
all of their stuff just flows around them.
And it's a big factor. And
Yeah. So, actually, that's so going into a reportedly haunted house
hmm
is always a tricky thing for me because I don't want to feel anything.
yeah.
I don't want to
Which
be exposed to anything.
my haunted house story is going to be, in my opinion, it's something that I would find funny. I don't know if you'll find it funny.
Okay,
I found it hilarious. It was
go for it.
I was at a friend's house and some random noise happened in some random room,
Uh
and his kid looks at me and they're like, maybe this house is haunted.
huh.
And I looked back and said, you're the only people who have lived here. Because it is. It's a new construction. They are the only family who's ever lived in that house. No one's died. There's no history. Maybe
Well,
you
that
could
doesn't.
say burial ground of some sort.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
just on the face of it all, there's no instance or proof that that house has any right to be haunted. Unless you want to count what it was built with or where it was built, which
Yeah,
doesn't have any recorded history as well. It used to be, just forest.
the forest could be very sad that it died for a house.
Could be. That I would have to assign forest the ability to think though, which I currently don't.
Well, yeah.
There's some evidence that they feel in some
Eh?
weird non-nervous system way.
Huh. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
it's things are weirder than we know about,
I believe that for sure.
which is
Um,
another reason I'm not completely closed off to the idea. But I don't know, spirits. I can't see them sticking around on Earth. Plus,
well,
plus you
okay, so
have
let's
some really
start at
weird
the.
things to think about.
Yeah, but not necessarily. Because I mean, if you don't have a physical body, 99% of your problems go away.
Well, see, that's what I was going to get at is like you take the movie Ghost,
Yeah.
and you have hit the scene where he can't pick up the penny,
Yeah.
but he's standing on the floor.
Yeah. Hollywood is finest.
He
Um, okay, so let's start at the beginning of this because I think we need to define something.
hmm
So, matter is energy. This is what my 9-year-old keeps telling me. Matter is energy,
hmm
right?
Yes.
I remembered correctly. So, and energy cannot be destroyed.
Yes.
Okay, so if our bodies are energy, then there is possibility that something that is of our energy would remain
hmm
after our death.
Yeah, there's a possibility of it, but once you get into that kind of realm, it becomes. Have you ever heard of the? I think it's called the chemist's eulogy.
No.
Okay. Well, this matter is, matter, energy. The
Mm-hmm.
the thing about it is there is a set limit of it within the universe. There's no new matter.
Okay.
Atoms aren't being created.
Right.
So what we are made up of is which is carbon mostly. It's water, etc.
You're
And
gonna science at me.
just a little, not too much.
Okay.
But all that carbon came from stars exploding many
Oh,
billions of years ago.
that's exciting.
Yeah, we're made of star stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All new humans are made of old star stuff.
All right.
So once you die and decompose and blah blah blah, and the Earth is destroyed and all that fun stuff in the future, your atoms will be scattered and become part of other things. We're all recycled. things.
Well, I know our matter is all
Hmm.
recycled. So, yeah, I guess I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's
which
kind of breaking my brain at this point because
it
it's
it,
9
it
o'clock at
does.
night.
It can. Yeah. it
I don't handle this well
no.
when I'm fully awake.
That's what I was about to say. On the best of times, you'd be looking at me like I'm an idiot for some of the things. But I guess that comes down to the point of, and this is going to get really existential, I guess, is what would be a spirit? And as if the common definition would be, it'd be like the soul of a body that's now dead.
Hmm.
So you get into the question of what is a soul?
Right. I don't know. So, there was um, I don't remember what the term is. It's like it's a chamber you can put somebody in that can't have any. It weighs very.
Is this the 26 grams?
I don't know.
Or is it,
Okay, so I mean, I think I read about this because of one of Dan Brown's books.
mm-hmm.
That
Or is it 24? Might be 24.
I don't know. So like they had this guy go into this chamber that locks everything in, and when he died,
Mm-hmm.
um, the weight went down by a small amount,
21 grams.
21 grams. So whatever, so 21 grams
Mm-hmm.
could be the soul. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that was debunked.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah. I'm looking now. Oh, no. Wait, no. Let's see. I'm on Snopes, so take this with a grain of salt because they suck lately. They say it's true.
Oh.
Oh, wait, no. They're just saying it's true that a physician did it. Tell me about the results, dumbasses. I know the physician did it. I've heard that it was debunked that that's what happened, though. I could be wrong, and I don't have time to read at the moment.
Okay, well, somebody can tell us.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
that just blows that point out. Although, I don't know that I necessarily care, because I have, so,
or it might have been air.
I didn't think air could escape that chamber.
I mean, but it was weighing the body.
No, wasn't it weighing everything in there?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Is air really that heavy?
I mean, escaping a body, possibly.
Mm,
Lungs are pretty big, and 21.3 grams isn't that much. It's 3/4 of an ounce.
that's still a lot.
It's a lot, but I don't know. Your lung capacity is a thing.
No, I don't want to think about my lung capacity.
Yeah. Also,
I'm good.
this was taking place in, when was it? 1911? Really? Is that
What?
1946?
That long ago?
It was quite a
What?
while, yeah.
I thought it was not that long ago.
No, it was pretty far away.
Okay, well, whatever. That blows that one out of the water, so we'll ignore that. So, yes, I'm not opposed. I mean, I have not seen a ghost. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen a ghost. But I don't discount it. I mean, I'm probably the same way about religion. Like, prove to me that God does not exist.
No,
And-
you can't prove a negative. Prove to me
Exactly.
unicorns don't exist.
Oh, I wish unicorns existed.
But prove they don't.
Oh, well, fair enough. So yeah, I am, but I'm of the opinion that because I'm not harming anybody and it makes me happy to believe in God, that I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So
I don't try
know,
to dissuade
that's-
you because it's your thing. Doesn't
yeah.
bother
I'm
me
not-
in the least.
Did you ever see Saved?
Mm,
It's like a cult classic now. It's got a Macaulay Culkin, and this girl got pregnant trying to save her boyfriend from being gay.
no.
Okay, well, you have to see it sometime because it's hilarious.
It's on my watch list, but I never got around to it.
Oh, you have to see it. So anyway, Mandy Moore is like the uptight Christian, and she hit the girl who got pregnant with the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And and so, I mean, like completely poignant. The girl turns around, she's like, "This is not a weapon." So that's what I try and be. Is like,
Yeah.
my faith is not a weapon against people. So anyway, so the ghost thing doesn't bother me. As part of my faith, we believe in angels and demons, and I'm good with that too, because it's like, well, I also believe the dinosaurs didn't walk on the earth 6,000 years ago, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
As much as I don't science, it's not because I don't want to. It's just that my brain is too stupid that way. I'm very smart otherwise. Just I know enough to know that dinosaurs. Oh, that young Earth thing is still killing me. So yeah, I can be good with that. I did see something that I believe is a demon when I was about 9 or 10, and that's what I wrote about in The Webs We Weave.
Right. Which is sort of the reason I picked this subject. Because, that book is out and awesome. And
Thank you. Yeah, I was in bed, and it was basically how I described it in the book. I was in bed, and something black with bright red eyes appeared in my doorway, and I closed my eyes. It was true. I thought to myself, I'm hallucinating. I'm legitimately hallucinating. And I closed my eyes and opened them again, and it was still there. It was like, well, shit.
Yeah.
It should have gone away. And I was so scared. Then I closed my eyes, and I think I started praying, and then like it was like something released, and I was able to start screaming for my parents, who were like, "What the hell's wrong?" And it's like, I don't remember what I told them, but I think what I told them is that I had a bad dream.
Yeah.
And they're like, everything's fine, because of course they did.
Yeah.
So, but what that taught me is that little kids, especially, who tell you that something's gone bump in the night, you shouldn't just dismiss them out of hand.
Wow.
I mean, no, you
For
shouldn't.
your lesson, yes. No,
Your
I
perception
agree
of what
as
is
well.
real and not is
Yeah.
different from a small child's.
Which I was going to say, I do agree. It's not something just to dismiss out of hand, but
No,
not something to.
you shouldn't make them more afraid.
Yeah.
So I had, and this is anecdotal, so you're going to poo all over that, but that's okay. I'm gonna tell you anyway. So I had a friend who came over to my house, and in my life, this happens a lot, that right at the right time I need to have a conversation with somebody, or somebody needed to have a conversation with me. We end up getting together, and the conversation happens, and it's exactly what the one person needed to hear. It happens a lot. It's kind of staggering how often it happens in my life.
Yeah, it happens in mine as well.
Okay, well, good. It's not just me then. But she came over, and she was saying that her kids were afraid and having nightmares, and they hadn't been living in their current location for very long, and before that they'd never had any problems. And so it's like, well, did you pray with them? Did you do blessings over them? Did you cleanse your house? What did you do? And she hadn't done any of that stuff, and she hadn't thought to do any of that stuff. And then so she did that without really talking about it with the kids, and the nightmare stopped. So it's like, well, I mean, it's anecdotal. It's completely, but hey, that's cool. And maybe it's just that her energy changed and the kids relaxed, or whatever. Whatever you want to ascribe it to, but I thought that was neat.
Which I think is where I kind of define spirit as. Because you take the lore of any kind of spirit, it's usually attached to memory of some sort. If it's an object or a house and something happened within the house, it's always memory or a resonation of that memory.
Fucking dolls.
Yeah, dolls. Which,
creepy little soul suckers.
If it's the one with the glass eyes, those I don't like those. And I'm not a superstitious person or anything. I just those are creepy. Those never needed to exist.
I agree.
But yeah, it's to me it's memory, and the part that really gets to me is, and one of the reasons I don't believe in spirits existing is memories are fallible,
Yeah.
which makes it hard for, I don't know, memory to be an everlasting type thing for me.
I mean, I get. Are they completely
Memories? Oh yeah.
okay?
I was also another thing that's been tested,
Okay.
but uh, in memory, the size of a room will be different. Things will change colors in your memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always something. I have memories, which to me are memories, but they're in third person. So I know for damn sure they're not a memory because that would be a neat trick to pull.
I had this dream that was so vivid
Hmm.
that of an amusement park that I probably believed that amusement park was real
Hmm.
for years. I only just realized that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
So, fair enough. My
Sa-
dreams are really, really vivid though. So, it's kind of a problem for me. I will wake up sometimes and it's like, did that really happen?
hmm.
What was that? I mean, so,
My dreams are very vivid, but they're also in third person.
mm, okay.
And I've had dreams. I'm gonna disprove this myth real quick. I've had dreams where me, as you know, the third person me, but I know it's me,
Mm-hmm.
died,
Mm.
and the dream kept going. I woke up a little depressed. I was like, wow, I don't even need to be a main character in my dream. That's just sad.
Oh,
Yeah,
poor you.
yeah, I know. So yeah, that whole if you die in your dream, you wake up. Nah,
No,
not always.
I didn't think so. I have dreams a lot where I'm falling,
Hmm.
and I have really terrible nightmares. This is how big of a nerd I am, that I was running late to class, or that I missed a class altogether in college.
Yeah.
Constantly, constantly having that dream. Yeah. So, whatever.
I've had the dreams of falling. Those are in first person, and whenever I land, I jump awake. I'm usually kicking
Yes.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Those are always fun.
You can just kick my husband, so it's all right.
Yeah.
Bonus feature of being married.
Yeah.
He snores sometimes, which is just unfair because he's so skinny. He shouldn't snore. Oh
I,
well,
I
whatever.
I had one where I kicked and like the bed was at the weird angle, and I kicked the dresser, and it like,
Ouch.
yeah, it pretty much stumped my toe from waking up from a falling dream. I was
Oh
not happy.
no. Oh my God. Okay. Yes. So yes, I'm good with that as far as like faith. And I don't necessarily feel like I justify it to anybody because I don't think it's that strong a conviction
Hmm.
because I I mean, there's no real proof. There's not any real way to prove anything. There's those TV shows, it's just hilarious. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy those TV shows where they try and investigate haunted houses. I
Hmm.
find them very fun.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I watched a good like 2 seasons of Ghost Hunters when it was new.
I probably watched most of that. I really loved it. I
Hmm.
didn't love the drama in the first two seasons, but after like after that one guy was gone, it was okay. But my
well,
so I mean they do present stuff as, proof,
well,
but
I was
how
about
do
to
you
get to that.
know?
My biggest problem, I think, and why I quit watching those kind of things, it was like, oh, this is it. We're measuring
Mhm.
for electromagnetic field. Okay, what? Why?
Yeah.
what? What evidence do you have that a spirit or ghost would give off such a thing?
Hmm.
Ah, but we're measuring cold spots. Okay, why?
Yeah.
Oh, because the spirit would suck in the energy and make the surrounding area cold. Okay. Why? I mean, it's a little annoying to say it like that, and you start to sound like a 3-year-old, but it's kind of how you
Yeah,
do science.
it is, and that's where you sound. That is the point where it's like you start to sound just like somebody who's getting argumentative just for being argumentative. But it's not like that. It's like you have to give me more than that.
Yeah.
So there was one video of let me think of what it is. I think it was not Graham, the other guy. Um, where he is interviewing a psychic,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens is like it's like his energy seems to like come out
All right.
of the guy. Does that make like did you ever see that shot?
Uh, was it with the thermal cam?
Yes.
Maybe. I
Let me
might
see if
have
I can
seen it.
find it.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I found it. I gotta try not to make my computer yell. Um, so anyway, I looked at that and I was like, that's really fascinating. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it's like so I searched for it and it's like the psychic with a thermal camera if you want to look for it on YouTube. So um anyway, what I felt like is like the energy was going out towards the psychic, and I kind of feel like maybe that's what happens to me is that
Mm-hmm.
the energy starts to like just come at me.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm experiencing other people's shit. And
Well,
I
here.
have this saying with my kids, it's like own your own shit, keep your own stuff to yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
don't spew that at other people because nobody needs your stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm saying it like for a kid. No, own your own stuff. Don't yeah. But, you know. So, I've been in a house that my friend told me was haunted and I didn't have any experiences of it until once, and it was only a feeling. And I've been in there's this haunted house apparently in San Diego where I grew up called the Whaley House.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool. If anybody gets to downtown San Diego, it just is a historical building. It's really fun. Um, and that little area down there is really fun. And I didn't have any experiences at all in the house. I didn't sense anything. I didn't feel anything. I didn't, nothing. It was not there
Yeah.
that I had any notion of. But I had this friend who his girlfriend wanted to go see the Whaley House, and he was like Mr. Tough Guy into martial arts, really not a believer, like very religious, not a believer in ghosts, and not the religious like I'm religious and I believe that ghosts can be a thing, but that this doesn't happen because he was just so firmly set in it. So he's, and I mean, like if you've never been to the Whaley House, it's hard to picture this, but if you've ever been in an old house, you know that the stairways are kind of like weird,
Yeah.
and so he's up at the top of the steps, and something came out at him, and he saw it, and he fell down the stairs because it scared the bejesus out of him. So I had that moment of like, ha ha ha. Are you okay? I'm sorry you fell down the stairs, but ha ha ha.
Yeah, that would be my moment. 'Cause I can't help laughing at that.
Like, he, whether he saw something or not, I don't know. When I
Mm-hmm.
was in Versailles, because I went to France when I was 16, when I was in Versailles, that place felt weird.
Yeah.
That that had a definite weird vibe to it, but I didn't feel haunted necessarily. I just felt odd.
Well, even I have that where I don't know. I have a hard time convincing myself that it's nothing more than your own brain
Hmm.
because every time I've had that weird kind of feeling and want to attribute it to something I can't explain, it's always something that I'm doing it to myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to freak ourselves out, and most of the time, the noises are very banal things that are in
Hmm.
the house. It's like, okay, well,
Especially old houses, and
yeah,
which old houses are always the haunted ones, but it's they were built differently.
They squeak and creak
Uh-huh.
and cheep and peep and do all kinds of fun stuff like that.
And they breathe,
And they breathe.
which is a
Hmm.
weird thing to say, but they do. Wood
They do.
expands, heat contracts, everything moves, everything's not as solid as it looks.
No. And all the stuff was built with nails rather than screws.
Mm-hmm.
I was having this
So it
debate with
shifts.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was having, because, yeah, we were discussing something and it's like you have to screw it down. They're like, oh, I got nails. It's like you cannot use nails to hold drywall on. It's just going to pop out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that why they were popping out?
Oh no.
Yes. I mean, she didn't install it. So that's the thing. Like, she
Yeah.
didn't install it. She paid somebody to install it, and
Mm-hmm.
they used nails. So
That
the
was a
nail heads
bad
were
deal.
popping out of the drywall. It's like, no.
Yeah, even
That's
with
why they're called drywall screws.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Even where you're supposed to nail it, you're supposed to anchor it with the outside screw bit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was having this moment. So anyway, an old house,
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally good with that. I think most of the places that people think are haunted are not haunted. But at the same time, like, I don't absolutely dismiss that other stuff could be going on. So, famous haunted one. What was that one in New York? Long Island. Amityville.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Amityville, you have this kid that goes crazy and murders his family. And there are some screwy circumstances to this. So, somehow he shot all of his family members, went bang, killed one, bang, killed another, bang, killed another. They weren't drugged,
Mm-hmm.
but none of them moved once he started firing. So that's a little weird. I
It
mean, just
could be.
it could be weird. No, it's weird. It
No,
might be explainable.
yeah.
It might have a perfectly great logical explanation, but that's a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
So you start with, and I'm bringing this up because it needs to. You need the ambiance as far as what I'm going to get to. So it seems odd. You have another family that moves in, and things start going haywire for them.
Yeah.
Now, did that oldest kid bring something into the house? Did he use supernatural means to execute his family? Was he being possessed by the devil? Blah blah blah. Or, sorry, or did what he do? The actions of killing all of them and his own craziness leave an imprint, leave the energy there? And because the family knew the story of what happened, did that affect them emotionally? And then after that family left, the next family to move in had no problems at all with anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be that your first family, the Lutzes, were just like me and susceptible to being crazy. And then the second family that moved in was just like you, and it's like, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can't prove which way it went. There is no real.
Well, no, but oh no, I'm gonna have to debate you on this idea of proving things
Okay.
because it, at least for me, and this is gonna be the sciencey thing again.
Mhm.
So you can hate it all you want,
I'm going to very
but
silently. Go ahead.
the burden of proof relies on who makes the claim.
Okay.
So for a claim of a spirit did it, the devil did it, you have to prove the spirit or the devil. To say it was coincidence, you can't really prove coincidence. It's kind of the easiest path. It's Occam's razor.
Mhm.
Simplest explanation is probably going to be the correct one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there is no way to go back and recreate this and figure out what the hell happened. There's
I
an
mean,
interesting
to some degree,
photo.
you can.
Well,
That's what
but you can't go back
forensics
to the what?
is. Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah, but
can't go to the exact day, the exact night, and like
no.
view it from the third person of this kid going around murdering people because that would be weird, but and
Yeah,
also
and
impossible.
a lot of the stuff has also been, lost, contaminated, destroyed.
Yeah.
There's no real point in getting to it right now. But
Yeah.
um, what so with the investigation, which was the Warrens,
Hmm.
Ed and Lorraine Warren, um, they took somebody took a photo that night that they were investigating
Hmm.
and caught a random kid in the house in the picture. Have you seen that picture?
No.
It is creepy as fuck. Now, did they stage it later? I don't know.
Hmm.
But, I mean, supposedly this is from that night when they were investigating and there were no kids in the house
Yeah.
because they were investigating.
Hmm.
So, there's all sorts of fun stuff like that. And this was before the days of Photoshop. So I know it was not Photoshopped. Now, anything that
Well,
I see that looks a little bit
hey,
suspicious
hang on now.
or like
Don't forget the fairies.
there's fairies.
It's a different case. It's the I gonna look before I say it. I want to say Waverly, but that's not the right thing. That's a Disney
No.
show.
No. Waverly is a sanatorium.
Let's see, fairies
So you might
England
be thinking Waverly, but that's not
hoax.
something they investigated.
The Cottonley fairies.
What?
The Cottonley fairies were fairies that appeared in photographs in 1901,
What? Oh, when they were trying to first off
or
fake
1917.
photographs.
Yes,
Okay, I got you now.
1917.
You had me completely confused. I was like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't realize that. I
Yeah,
thought you were still talking about the Warrens
yeah,
trying to fake
no,
something.
I was just saying, fake photographs have existed long before Photoshop.
Fair enough. So, I mean, but they had a news. This isn't proving my point, but I will say it
Hmm.
anyway. They had a news organization in there with them
Hmm.
when they did the investigation. So, I mean, there's all kinds of interesting things. It's like, well,
So
I'm
was it?
not going to completely discount it.
So was it caught on film and film?
No, it was a
Oh,
still camera
let's
that was
see.
set up to take pictures.
But they had a news crew. Why didn't? Why weren't they filming?
Um, I think they were, but I
But
don't think
but
that
they
they were
didn't
filming
catch
at
the
that
kid.
moment.
Yeah, see, yeah, it's always something.
Yeah,
You have to admit the story would be way more stronger if you had two pieces of evidence from separate sources on the same night.
agreed. I mean, this isn't proof, but it's interesting.
It
I
is.
sent you the link so you can see it. Anybody else who wants to do it, the Amityville Ghost Boy.
Yeah.
So, but that was one of the still cameras that they had set up, and then the kid. But here's what the thing that gets to me: the kid's eyes reflecting.
Hmm.
Do ghosts' eyes reflect in film? That's a question.
Should they?
Like, did you pull up the link?
Yeah, I'm looking now.
So scroll down a little bit, and you'll see him right behind the banister.
Hmm.
So that, I mean, don't you have to actually have eyes to have that happen? I
Uh,
don't know.
wouldn't you need to have like cat's eyes with reflective
Oh,
surfaces?
human eyes don't do that, do they?
Nope.
Oh, damn it, that's even creepier now. Shit.
Well, is it or is it less? Because I don't know. Whenever I see reflective eyes, I automatically assume hoax because of that reason.
Okay. Well, if it's supposed to be a ghost, though.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, but isn't that more reason to do special effects?
Hmm.
Like, because as soon as you say, well, it's a ghost, so it has glowing eyes, okay, why doesn't it have glowing everything then? Why does that one thing change when you're not matter anymore?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Hmm.
I don't know if they faked it or not. I have no idea. But
Yeah. I don't either, but I'm just going to assume they did.
yeah,
It's easier to.
or somebody did. If
Yeah.
not them, somebody.
I was going to say it'd be easier to scratch that little piece of the photograph to make it whiter than the rest to make it look creepy.
True. Very true. So, um, what was something else I want to talk about? Oh, so uh, tarot cards
Hmm.
and Ouija boards.
Yes.
Nobody ever really explained to me, and I know you find this whole thing bullshit, so this is hilarious for you, but that it was like opening a portal to something,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why you shouldn't play with it. And I definitely had so much fun playing with those things, and I'm very sorry that I did because it really didn't bring me any kind of helpfulness or happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those kooks that on September 10th did a reading and got the falling tower.
Yeah.
But I wasn't asking about anything about 9/11.
Right.
And I mean, this was on September 10th, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just weird coincidence. So,
Yeah.
I don't buy that was what it was, but it was just like, wow, that's interesting. And it doesn't mean necessarily catastrophe anyway. But
See, I knew fully well what the Ouija board was and all that, and tarot.
Mhm.
And my friend had one, so we brought
Mhm.
it out anyway. And he's a little more believing in things than I am,
Mhm.
especially at the time. We were like, young teens.
Yeah.
So we get the Ouija board out and we put our hands on the stupid thing I don't remember the name of.
I don't remember what it's called either.
And I'm sitting there and we ask a question. I have no idea what we ask. And I'm sitting there and absolutely nothing's happening. Then I get bored and I start moving it for him. And he's like, "Are you fucking moving it?" No shit, I'm moving it, dumbass.
Did you tell him?
I did.
Okay, good.
Eventually, but yeah, I did just get that half a second of, and that made my day.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, nothing was happening.
I have no idea if my friends were faking it or not, but it was one of
Well,
those things that's like, it never felt completely right.
well, that's the thing is, this again has been studied. I forgot the name of it, but it is a group of people can move a Ouija board mover, whatever that thing's called, without anyone intentionally doing it.
I believe that.
It's the autosynchronous motor, something
Uh-huh.
to that effect. It's the same thing for, what are pendulums? Pendulums.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, spin in a circle or go straight back and forth. Yeah, you're just moving it. if you film someone in slow mo, they will say they're not moving it, but you can watch their motor reflexes are doing it.
Oh, that's fun. Well, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I still don't like it. I still don't. So I think I'm gonna try and science again. We don't use very much of our brain, and we're possibly smarter than we think. We have this. So there was this.
Disputed, but okay.
Well, we don't use all of our brain, and
we don't use all of our brain at the same time.
All right, fair enough. I will believe you on that one because I have no idea.
Yeah.
So the there's this kind of not reflexology, bioreflex thing where it's being used to detect allergies.
Mm-hmm.
And you will, if you're holding something that you are allergic to, or a representation of what you're allergic to, even the word of what you're allergic to, your muscles will weaken. And I mean, the whole thing seemed like completely the stupidest piece of crack of shit ever seemed like the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
And so, but we tried it and it works. And so what I feel like is that maybe something in my skin or in my head knows, hey, I can't eat this.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I think that it goes a little deeper than that. But I mean, we had a weird one where we were asking. My friend wanted to know if her toddler could eat peanuts, and so I'm like, okay. So I'm like, sat her toddler on her lap, and then I gave her an unopened jar of peanut butter so that she wouldn't like break out in hives.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used my friend's hand to test it because her 2-year-old is not going to be useful in this thing.
Yeah.
And her fingers opened, which was the sign that that her daughter was allergic to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the daughter down and handed the woman the peanuts, and the peanut butter, I'm sorry, and tried it again, and her fingers stayed together. She's like, that is creepy. And it's like, well, I think you already know
Hmm.
what you're telling me. So, and then without telling her son what we were doing, I handed him something that I didn't know whether he was allergic to it or not. And then I'm like, here, hold your fingers like this, and then try and keep them together. And then I couldn't pull his fingers apart, and it was something that he was not allergic to. And then I tried it with something that he was allergic to, and they came apart.
That's
So,
weird.
and he really didn't have any idea what we were doing.
Mm.
He just like, what are you doing to me? He's
So
9 and just playing along with me, but because the crazy woman was standing there saying,
yeah,
here, hold this.
hold this. Why now grabbing my hand? What is going on here?
Yeah. So, I mean, I just feel like there are things that are out there that we can't explain all together. And I don't even know that this
Yeah,
allergy thing has anything to do with science and is not just my head knows what I shouldn't eat
I was
because
gonna
my
ask, has it
skin
been tested?
breathes.
Because that can be
Um,
tested.
but allergy tests are not reliable. So the problem is that this woman's daughter breaks out into big, huge hives if she gets in contact with peanut butter
Mm-hmm.
or peanuts. But she tests negative for allergies to peanuts.
Fair. Also
So, I
weird.
mean, my allergist likes to say that what she doesn't know about allergies is more than what she does know.
Yeah. Which that's
So,
a lot of science. That's why I added that addendum to there are things we don't know about and can't explain, and not just throw on yet.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, if somebody said to me, your skin
Mm-hmm.
because your skin is your largest organ, and it's very porous, and it understands lots of things, and if your skin can know on a small cellular level that something is bad for you and wants you to get away from it, well, that wouldn't be totally out of the realm of possibility, but mainstream science would be like, no.
No, I wouldn't be so sure about it. If they can test it, they'll test it.
Well, let's hope they do. Although it's subjective. I mean, like there are some things if you write the word on a piece of paper and then fold the piece of paper in half,
Mm-hmm.
you can like hand it to somebody and still do this test,
Yeah.
and it still works,
Well,
which is bizarre.
it's also kind of like the color red, or it could be kind of like the color red.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
So, women see more shades of red than men.
Well, women see lots more than men.
Yes, but this one's a legit thing. It's testable.
Okay,
Eh,
go on.
But yeah, there's like a few different shades of red. And supposedly, or the explanation that's currently in, is because there's two X chromosomes.
Okay. Huh.
So, and according to this, it'd be like men only have one X chromosome. So, where women can see crimson, maroon, cardinal, ruby, and scarlet, men might only be able to see light, medium, dark red.
Really?
Hmm. And one evolutionary psychology type explanation of it is in a hunter gatherer situation, and
Yeah.
you're looking at berries, which may or may not be poison.
Right.
It may be advantageous to be able to see different colors of red.
Huh.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
which that's just the hypothesis of it for now.
Right. I
And
didn't know that.
but yeah, there's little differences between that. Like I think white men see like an off-white, where women see more real white.
How do you even test for that?
I have no idea.
I mean, no, wait, I know how you can do it because I've done color tests where you like have to identify is this
Yeah.
the same color as this?
Yeah.
So never mind, I
Which
do know.
yeah, there's other ways to, or not other ways, but that's one way to test it. And then you can split bands of color to that effect.
Okay.
I want to know how you get the idea to test it.
Yeah, right? Why did you think? I mean, I know that men. Okay, no. I know that my husband does not see color the same way I do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be like, get the fuchsia thread for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
And he grabs not fuchsia. And whether that's because he doesn't know, give a shit about, or can't see fuchsia.
I was
I
gonna
mean, it's
say,
very possible he just has no idea what fuchsia looks like.
yeah, there's certain colors I don't know what fuchsia is. I always have to like tell me better. Give me a hex code. I know hex code. That's a Photoshop thing, by the way,
Okay.
where like all colors are
Yeah. So
determined by these 6 digits.
yeah, he just does not see things
But
in color spectrums the way I do.
yeah, I think it's
So
what
I just
burgundy and
assumed it was
maroon.
laziness.
I think it's burgundy and maroon that I either mix up all the time or can't tell the difference between.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little, well, that one he would be in trouble because we went to a school where the school color was maroon, so
Yeah.
that would be a that would be a little bit of a faux pas, but
Eh.
I just thought he was being lazy, because why not?
No.
He can get away with it.
All along there was science to
There
explain that.
was to your complete inattention when I'm describing the fabrics that I just bought.
Yeah, that too.
There's this guy who used to work at the Joann's where I like to go,
Hmm.
and he was just the best. And we'd cut fabric and talk about all the cool prints that had just come out, and he was just the best. And he moved to another store, and I'm so bummed because there went my fabric guy. My
Yeah.
spouse is just useless for this, and we've gotten really off topic.
A little
So yeah, so I don't. There is no way to prove. No, there is a way to prove a spirit, but there is no way that anybody would believe the proof anyway. So even if you got it, you'd be like, no, that's just horseshit.
Well,
It's photoshopped. Nobody believes that crap.
I was gonna say that's where the word proof comes in. Proof is, and that's another problem I have with any claims of spirits today.
Hmm.
Proof is repeatable.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. Oh, okay. But proof is not necessarily repeatable. Say we have like not no proof that the dinosaurs were wiped out by a comet. Or no, like the comets are hitting. We know that comets hit the Earth, but we haven't necessarily seen all of the ones and all of the damage that they did.
Hmm.
And we only have conjecture.
We have evidence.
Yeah. And if proof is repeatable, then that comet that hit Russia a couple years ago has to come and hit it again.
Oh, it probably will.
No, it can't because it hit the ground.
No,
So,
that's not exactly the same thing.
well,
Like, think of gravity and that
let me
being.
grasp at straws.
We're talking documentation of an event. You can't.
Yeah, we did see it. I mean, we have documentation of it
Hmm.
because of all of the
Dash cam.
thank God for all of the crooks in Russia because otherwise we would never have seen it. If it happened here in America, we'd be like lucky unless it's around teenagers.
Yeah.
And then we will have seen it.
Along with their face.
Yes. Making kissy noises everywhere.
Yeah. Just
Mm-hmm.
duck face selfie with the comet. Oh,
Uh-huh.
I weep for this world sometimes.
It's like the solar eclipse coming up and that woman's like, did that woman just ask to reschedule the sun?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so sad.
it really is sad.
I can't wait to hear of all the people who had damaged their eyes this year.
You know,
You know
I
you
really
did.
hope that doesn't happen.
You know it's going to.
I know it's going to happen, but I can hope that it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Which I can hope for a lot of things, but
We're driving up to Niagara Falls, so we have to stop along the road to see it because my spouse is very insistent that he wants to see it.
yeah.
And I'm just like, whatever. It's so terrible, but I just don't care.
Yeah. Well,
I just don't. I don't
know.
care.
I'm not terribly enthused about it, but I do want to see it.
You'll have a
That
better view
makes
of it,
sense. I
right?
I don't know.
I'm gonna be up in upper state New York.
Like, I'm not really in the path of the ideal, quote unquote, ideal locations.
I know, but it's coming closer to you than I think it will to me.
Probably, maybe.
Yeah, because I think it's gonna go through like Tennessee and
Yeah,
it's going from Oregon down to South Carolina.
way far from Tennessee.
You are way far from Tennessee. Why did I just say that? I don't know. It's going from Oregon to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe something cool will happen. So I'm listening to Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham. I don't remember what he is. Where he is postulating. I have no idea whether this is true or not because I'm not an archaeologist and clearly not into science. But he's postulating that there was an advanced civilization that happened before what are any kind of recorded history. So pre um, 12,000 years ago, which I believe was the Ice Age, right?
Uh, yes.
Little Ice Age? No, not the Little Ice Age. It was the um,
The the in between the little warming, I think was called. That was
yes,
11,000 something years ago.
yes. So he's talking about how uh, was it the Mayans who predicted the world would end sometime in this period, or that the new phase of the sun would begin sometime in this period?
Yeah, that's what it was.
And there was massive destruction and cataclysm and whatever, and it was fascinating. It's like, well, it didn't happen in 2012, but what it actually was, and he was writing about this in the 90s, is that it's a time range between, I don't know what the beginning time range is, but the end time range is 2040-ish.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the thing about the Mayan calendar thing was it did end on December 12th, 2012, but it wasn't a prediction for the world ending. It was just that was the end of the
the new
calendar and
phase.
the new calendar
Yeah,
started. Yeah.
yeah. It's just a new phase. Well, they had cataclysms and destructions in each new sun or something like that.
Hmm.
I don't know that I'm explaining this very well. I'm not very far into the book, so hear it for what it is. But like, they had all of these um, things where they really respected and studied the sun and the stars, and they paid attention
Hmm.
to what was going on in the heavens. And it's like, I am just such a useless human being because I just do not care. I don't care.
Well,
And
you might have 11,000 years ago
I might have.
when
That's
there was
true.
nothing else to look at.
That is true. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, when people talk about whether there were, aliens or ghosts or whatever, because the Nazca lines, you can only see them from space and
Hmm.
other things like that, it's like, well, maybe they just had planes and then a big ass comet hit the Earth and wiped out all the evidence of planes. Because
Yeah.
why the hell not? Right? I mean, kids, there have been like images of planes in Egyptian tombs too.
Mm.
So that was unearthed not that long ago, I don't think. Or they were not planes. I mean, they could have had not papyrus airplanes or something. Make something that flies. That could be what they were picturing, but
Which I'm not dismissing it outright, but again, that
no.
being one of those.
Everybody in mainstream science thinks this guy is totally cracked, which makes him fascinating to me because if they're like, no, 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 he's totally crazy, it's like, let me hear some more of you. I'm good with listening to crazy, and then maybe I'll believe it, maybe I won't, but,
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
No, I mean,
'Cause,
I like listening to crazy. I like thinking about what if it could have happened,
yes.
which is always fun. It's like, well, if they could have, couldn't we duplicate that? That's what it always comes down to. I'm all for a papyrus plane if we can make one today, the way they would have made it then. But on the same token, there's a ton of technology they had that we have no idea what it was or how they did it.
Yes.
And we have the evidence that they did, in fact, do it because we see these huge fucking rocks that don't come from the places the huge
Yep.
fucking rocks are at now.
Nope.
So we
Yeah.
know. So we know it got there,
Mm-hmm.
and we know they buried things,
Mm-hmm.
and we just don't know how or why.
No.
Which
Yeah, it's fascinating.
makes it a fun
So,
guessing game.
Yeah. What was the other thing I wanted to discuss about spirits? Because we actually should get back on topic.
Yeah.
Um, oh, near-death experiences.
Mm.
So now near-death experiences, and also not just near-death experiences, but psychedelic drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those. Um, near-death experiences, often, but not always, people who are revived from them, and they have gotten more prevalent as more people, are surviving things like drowning because of CPR and,
Mm-hmm.
heart attacks and whatever. And they have um, documented cases where people will hear conversations that were happening rooms away.
Yes.
Um, and I don't know that I don't know how you would prove that. I mean, the person wakes up and says, "Were you saying this, this, and this?" And they're like, "Yes, that's amazing. Now, is that real?" I don't know because, as you said, memories are infallible.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens enough that I give it credence. So, the near-death experiences are almost always positive. So I would imagine that if we had spirits, most of the time they're going to go to, if it's a positive experience in some other kind of dimension or some other kind of, I don't know if I mean dimension, but some other kind of wavelength of being.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they might want to just go on and there wouldn't be a lot of them here. So you wouldn't have a lot of them hanging around to find proof.
Yeah. Which I've heard on the near death experiences that I've heard hypothesis for it,
Hmm.
which would be like your brain is basically
Dying.
it's
It's dead.
it's not just dying. It knows the pain the body's in and it's just way too much.
Hmm.
So your body just shuts that shit down and goes into basically a dream state
Hmm.
where it's like, nope, we're gonna think of good things now.
Hmm.
And then when you come out of it, that you remember,
Hmm.
just like you would remember a dream. Also,
Yeah.
not everyone who almost dies has a near death experience, which makes it even more fun to debate.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I've heard a lot of, yeah, there was nothing. I died on the table and came back, and yeah, there was nothing.
Yes, that is true. There's also people who have negative experiences, which could be
Hmm.
explained away as you're having a nightmare.
Yeah.
Um, that wouldn't really be the pain hypothesis. Unfortunately, there's no real way to test this.
Well, I mean, flatliners.
Yeah, but that movie does not count. That cannot be your argument.
No, I'm just saying you could do it. It wouldn't be ethical, and you couldn't get research money to do it.
And it wouldn't matter because it would still be their subjective
Yeah.
experience as far as that goes.
Hmm.
So, but I, yeah. So I feel like with that particular instance, if somebody's near-death experience makes them feel better about their life and about dying later,
Hmm.
good on them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, why take that away from somebody? So I'm good with letting that be what it is. And for my own personal reasons, I would hope that um, heaven is there and is a beautiful thing. But if heaven is not there, well, I've still lived a happy, contented life, and I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
So, um, but so the other thing is the psychedelics is that I've heard, and I've never actually done any like illicit drugs in my life because I am that boring. But I've
I
heard.
haven't done psychedelics, so Joe Rogan, if you're listening, hook me up, DMT. We're good. Sam Harris,
Right?
LSD. Come on, somebody.
Right? I have no desire to try them because I'm perfectly content where I am. Even though I know that I'm limited, like that's the biggest thing. It's like I know that my creativity is limited because I don't do any of this stuff.
My
But
curiosity gets the better to me.
I like being stable. I don't even like drinking alcohol because I like being stable.
Well,
And it drives me crazy to drink. Like for a couple of sips where I'm not drunk, it's okay, but any more than that, it's like nah. But what I've heard is that with psychedelics, they'll run into beings where they're like saying, "Oh, hey, well, we wanted to talk to you for so long, and you couldn't hear us because you were not in this state, and blah blah blah." It's interesting,
hmm.
and I. Can you prove that there are not things made out of energy
Uh,
around us?
nope, nope.
No,
Here
yeah,
we
yeah,
go
yeah.
again.
Okay. So I would like it the electromagnetic field. So
Mhm,
say there are things that are made up of um, energy that
mhm,
we can't see that can be registered, say, on an electromagnetic field. If it has an electromagnetic field, then it's could be something that's there interfering with or interacting with us or anything like that.
mhm.
And we wouldn't really have a way to measure that.
We could figure it out.
Well, how?
I don't know. How did we figure out to take X-rays or ultraviolet light?
I think that was an accident.
It was. It was measuring the temperature of light, and the light ended at violet, which was the hottest. But
Mhm.
then the space underneath it, which had no color, was even hotter.
Ah.
So we assumed there was a spectrum of light that we couldn't see, and there was. But
Oh,
that's how the initial discovery came into place. That
okay.
or even the fact that there's light that we can't see,
Yeah.
which
So
on its own sounds spiritual in a way. That there's light all around you that your eye is not designed to make out.
that is totally true. I think you just proved my point for me.
Yeah.
I don't remember what my point was, but I think you proved it.
Can't measure electromagnetic anything because we don't know if there's electromagnetic things. Which I'm saying,
Yes. Well,
uh,
we can measure them, like the
yeah.
EMF reader or whatever. We can
Hmm.
measure them, and we can,
Except those
sort of
get really
make
screwy. Anything electronic sets those things off.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
But
the
they
the wiring
typically,
in a house will set it off.
yeah, your cell phone, all
Mm.
those other things. But in blank space in the air, it shouldn't just set it off.
It depends
Or if it's
on
sitting,
what's behind the wall or what's
but
in
if
the
it's
room.
Yeah, if it's sitting still in a room and nobody's moving and nobody's doing anything, somebody could be shooting rays or I don't know what into the room.
Hmm.
That's going a little far at this point. You're like,
Well, not exactly. I mean, there's electronics absolutely everywhere now. Plus, Earth is encompassed by an electromagnetic field that fluctuates.
that's true. So there really is no way to accurately measure something just
on
made out of energy.
on EMF, that you could come up with the circumstance to do it by cutting out everything that you can.
Okay.
That's the science way to do things. Is you would make a completely clean room, possibly underground or whatever, away
Okay.
from anything, and then measure from there.
So like Faraday cage in reverse.
Basically, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
science has measured. We've measured the Higgs boson, which we
I
didn't
know.
know existed.
I know. Yeah, the middle one wants to go work at CERN just
Yeah,
because.
yeah,
Like, really?
completely.
Really?
Yes, do it.
Ugh.
Because that's where all the fun is happening right now.
I know, but if anybody was going to vaporize the planet, it'd be him, so I'm kind of a little leery on that one.
Maybe,
Ugh.
maybe it'd be worth it. I will take
I
the
don't think
risk.
so.
I will take the. Either he'll vaporize the world, or he'll create the black hole from CERN that will suck the world into itself,
Huh.
or he'll discover wormholes or another universe.
I hope not. Your dog is freaking out.
Yeah, they are. I have no idea why. Then he
It's
stop.
because a ghost. It's a ghost.
Possibly.
Dogs that randomly bark at corners, cats that hiss at nothing. They know there are ghosts there.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. And it's not just a little speck or a bug that you can't see. It's not that at all. Nope, nope, nope.
Yeah, it totally is. Like he was freaking out one day, and it gets to the point where because he's a really spooky dog, just completely
Hmm.
spooky, barks at everything.
Yeah.
He barks at the curtain when the wind blows it to that degree.
Okay.
So he starts barking at the wall one day, and we're like, "Oh my god, shut up! Why are you barking again?" And he kept at it, so we went and looked, and oh, there's a snake in the living room that he's barking at. So we take him a little bit
Good
more
dog.
seriously lately.
Hey, you're not just total crazy
Yeah,
nutcase.
yeah, and it wasn't a spirit.
It was not a spirit.
No,
It was,
uh,
yeah.
there was always some explanation to be had. Which I don't know. That's where my thing goes. Is there's always an explanation of some sort, which is disappointing. I think it'd be kind of yeah. I'm for spirits.
I see. I'm just happy to be like, I have not seen total disproof, and you don't like that, but that's okay. I
Because
don't really
there's no
care if you
such
like it
thing.
or not. I have no shits to give on that one. So it isn't completely been disproved, so I'm open to it.
There is no disproving. Nothing's
Well,
been
there's
disproved. Name something that's been disproved.
um something that's been disproved.
I'll do one better. Disprove that the Earth isn't 6,000 years old.
Don't they have radiocarbon dating?
Can you explain radiocarbon dating?
No, that's not a fair thing to ask for me. Damn it. It's how the isotopes in the carbon atom and at the rate at which they decay can be measured. So, bite me. I actually knew that one.
Okay,
I
but
feel vindicated. And I'm a little exhausted now that I did that, but
still like you to prove it. Go ahead.
I can't prove it. No, so I guess it would be more fair to say that I am open to possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not closed my mind to anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm happy to believe
See,
or not,
I was
and
gonna
I'm
say I think we're kind of on the same page of that one. We just come at it from the opposite ends.
yeah.
We're here like, I don't know, but sure. And I'm like, I don't know, but no.
Yes,
where
exactly.
you need disproof, I need proof.
Yes. I mean, the thing I saw as a demon, I can't recreate that because I can't make the thing come.
No.
Nor if demons are real, do I want one to visit my house. I'm
Well,
just saying. Like,
well,
they can just stay away forever. That'd be okay. I'd be okay with never getting proof of that one.
see, on the same token, when I was a dumbass teenager, and I did believe in these kind of things, I did the whole ritual thing to summon something. Nothing ever showed up.
That's because you are so close-minded on this kind of thing.
But I'm
You
not,
have
and I
no
wasn't.
receptive. No, you are intellectually not close-minded. You are just otherwise closed off.
Yeah, but nothing happened in the house. No one else experienced anything.
Maybe they're like, fuck him. He's good. Doesn't need to
No,
screw with him.
beforehand, like when I was 10 or so, because I was like 14 or something, whenever I was, really, I
Hmm.
think every kid goes through some form of that.
Hmm.
I could be wrong. But before that, like, my mother and my grandmother both believed a ghost was in the house of some sort. I think they thought it was my grandfather. But, like, they'd be
Oh,
asleep and the bed would move, like something bumped into it. And it happened to both of them in different times, but in the same room.
wow.
So
Wonder what did it.
So if that was the case, they were receptive to something. But then when I
Yeah.
was older and summoning the worst spirit in the stupid book I found, and nothing happened to
Well,
anybody.
if you did this out of some stupid book you found,
No, it was one of the actual legit books. It wasn't like some dumb book.
okay. I don't know. Not that I'm trying to encourage you to do so, but yeah, it's
Nah,
um,
go for it. I did it. Nothing happened. If
no.
you're listening to this and you do it and you get results, let me know. And then we'll recreate it and we'll have proof that really malevolent demons exist.
I'm good with them just
Malevolent, not
leaving me
malevolent.
alone. I really just am.
Oh, I'm good with them leaving me alone too, but if they're there, let me know. Hit me up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think I was crazy, although, I've already admitted that I have really lucid dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that didn't start until I was an adult. So I
That
didn't
you
start
know
having
of.
that I know. Well, I mean, I didn't. Um, yeah, that I know of. But the thing is that I I didn't have start having those things where it was reality shaking. Like, did I actually do this? Did this
Hmm.
really happen? You know, I do know that I imagined things. I used to, I believed for the longest time that my room was one color, and
Hmm.
then I was watching the walls, which were one color, and then they faded into another color. And
Yeah.
it was the creepiest, and I was very small. I was younger than like 7.
Hmm.
And I asked my mom about it, and she's like, they were always that color. So I just finally figured out that I had been picturing the walls the wrong color the whole damn time.
Hmm.
So it's not like this doesn't happen, but I was absolutely awake when it happened, and I believe that I was not hallucinating. Whether anybody else agrees with me or not is up
Yeah.
for debate. But
Well, yeah. Which,
I mean, there are other times where I have hallucinated. I'll see things out of the corner of my eye, and it's like that. I'm just seeing things out of the corner of my eye. It's not really there.
oh, yeah.
It's just a speck of dust or a shift of a shadow, or there's a car passing on the road outside. I know those are not real.
I was gonna say there's also I forget what they're called, but certain mental illness is associated with that kind of thing,
Oh, good.
and certain depressions are associated with that.
Oh, interesting. I'm not depressed at all,
Yeah, I'm just saying,
so
but I'm
I'm one of
just
those weirdos that is not depressed
yeah.
and has no anxiety
But like I've had
and
dark
jealous.
shapes moving in the corner of my eyes since I was a teenager,
Hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
at the time it kind of made sense to think demon, ghost, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
especially whenever I wasn't sleeping well. So my
Right.
brain was already foggy to begin with, and then all of a sudden something's moving toward me out of the corner of my eye.
Mm-hmm.
And then, fight or flight kicks in, and
Yeah.
you believe whatever the hell you want to believe to keep yourself safe.
Right. Yeah. I agree. It's just no. I had this happen, and also I have a pretty significant scar on one of my corneas,
Hmm.
so it also makes me see things weird.
Yeah.
So when my son was getting diagnosed with convergence insufficiency, and I'm getting an eye test, the developmental ophthalmologist is like, here, read with this thing. This will tell you how your kid's reading. And like, he put this thing over my eyes, and I was like, oh, it's bigger and clearer, and I can read better. He's like, okay, well, this isn't working for you. And it's like, I already, I scarred my cornea when I was 18, and I had to relearn how to read. I mean, I
Hmm.
could read, but I had to reteach my brain to read with one eye.
Yeah.
So I already knew what that was like,
Hmm.
but it's just different perceptions of stuff.
Yeah. Which the perception is everything. For me, it's my alignment is broken in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I have lenses that refocus my alignment. And this is only supposed to happen with massive brain trauma. I've never had brain trauma.
Well, that you know of, you may not have remembered it.
All right, whenever I say that, me nor my mother know of any time I've ever had brain trauma.
Okay, I trust your mom more to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, going back to like kids stuff when I don't remember, she doesn't
hmm,
remember anything to that effect.
yeah,
It was like,
that's crazy.
and when I say brain trauma, I mean like the doctor asked me, he was like, "Have you ever been kicked by a horse?" She's fucking
Oh,
crazy. No. I hate horses. I don't get
oh my
around them.
gosh.
So
Ugh,
we're talking significant trauma is how this happens, and
wow.
it would be something that I should have known about,
Yeah.
or
Huh.
someone should have known about. I'm like, no.
Well,
So yeah, it's
we all
just
get to be a little medically special sometimes.
pretty much. But so with that, I see double of when I'm trying to read without my glasses,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll end up having to close one eye. I've read with just my left eye for years
Hmm.
because I would have to close my eye because whenever I was awake, it would focus properly. When I get sleepy, I'd lose focus and they'd start drifting more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's probably close to what happens with me because I
mm,
just can't use my one eye.
yeah,
So, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
so but that has completely changed. You've become more aware. I think that all you're doing is perceiving things.
Yep.
that
Mm-hmm.
what you see isn't completely real, which is a whole nother subject.
Yes, it
but
really is.
but it does kind of tie into, is there spirits? Could there be? Maybe. And it also ties into, and another reason I have an open mind, your perception's different than mine. I fully accept that.
Yes. Yeah, there are things that you see more clearly than I do, and there are things I see more clearly than you do.
Hmm.
And it's just depending on what the circumstances.
Yeah. And it goes for everybody.
It does.
Now,
It
if
does. We're not all
every
the same.
now if everybody could learn that, the world would be a much happier place.
Seriously. Seriously. I wish everybody just calmed down.
Yeah. If anyone's wondering, it's August 15th, and if you don't remember today,
2017.
2017. And if you don't remember today, I'm pretty sure it's being written about somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bad day. Bad day all around.
Bad weekend. Bad weekend passed, and then the day just got worse. It's
It
all
did.
bad.
It is. It is. And everybody's panties are in such a twist. And I get, like, why everybody is upset about racism. I really do.
Hmm.
Please don't hear that. But I'm just not going to let
Well,
neo-Nazis damage my anything
well, see,
by wanting
that's,
to kill them.
that's the other part of it, though. It's not just neo-Nazis. Neo-Nazis are such a small faction of people.
Yes, it is.
But the term has gotten so overblown to include so many people. And then those
Mhm.
people are getting pissed because they're being called what they're not, which just adds more to it. And then
Yep.
both sides are just stupid, and I hate them both.
The problem with being a libertarian is everything is just not your side.
Yeah.
It's easier when you can just pick a side and be like, yes, I'm going to plant my flag here. But,
Hmm.
not being on either side, you can look at it and go, you're all wrong. And I'm wrong too. I'm
Uh-huh.
wrong too.
Now, fully, I'm the least wrong.
No,
It's
I'm
how it
sure
feels
I'm
sometimes.
wrong as everybody else. But at the same time, I'm not letting, because when you allow yourself to be that angry and that hateful, it just hurts you.
Well, see,
It doesn't do anything productive. There is nothing that gets accomplished with that.
that's why I claim to be the least wrong, because I don't hate either side. I understand them both. And it's just
Yeah.
like, could y'all let it go and quit talking to each other for a bit?
Mm-hmm.
Just go.
Calm the fuck down.
Yeah. So I think my side's the least wrong, which is
Somebody said it.
egotistical, but I don't care.
Yeah, somebody said it had an interesting way of putting it. Then I don't remember who it was, but they said, if they're people who are using racism, or not racism, using the white privilege thing
Hmm.
in order to try and get anywhere, it's just completely lazy. You're doing this on a not earned basis, but as a merit based on my skin color, I get to have all these things.
I'm gonna have to see proof of white privilege.
Well, no, but I mean, like, so if no, somebody who is claiming
Yeah,
that
I
they
know.
deserve this job because
Uh,
they are white and thus better,
I'm
it's
gonna,
just lazy.
I'm gonna need to see proof of that. I've heard no one say that ever.
Okay. Well, I mean, I
The
think
the only people I've seen bring up white privilege are non-white people.
no, I have a lot of white friends who are saying that they are privileged, and
Yeah, but they're not saying
I
that they
certainly feel
deserve
very
it.
privileged. I am extraordinarily spoiled. Extremely spoiled. I don't know that it has anything to do with my race, but it probably does.
What I
There you
was
go.
about to ask. I would need to see proof of that. I've
And
had.
as you have just spent the last 2 hours telling me,
Nope,
there's
nope,
no
nope.
proof for that.
No. I said you can't prove a negative.
Okay.
If you're making a claim, you should be able to prove your claim.
Okay.
That's basic. But
So we have to go back. You're going to get us stoned. Do you know that? You are going to get us completely stoned. Somebody's coming after us with tiki torch
Look,
pitchforks, which was hilarious, by the way. I
don't-
thought that the white supremacists using tiki torches.
they weren't white supremacists.
Well, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
somebody pointed that out, and I was like, that is awesome.
Yeah, that was something else for. It was perfect, is what it was.
Yeah.
A bunch of middle class, lower middle class people marching with tiki torches. It was.
It was ridiculous.
I write dark
And I feel
comedy
so bad that,
satire.
yeah, apparently.
No, I write dark comedy satire.
Yeah, it's apparent on what you just said, and I'm laughing at it, so it makes me terrible too, but
I know, I'm just saying. And I couldn't have come up with that.
fair enough. Yeah, it
Like,
was
holy shit. How oblivious are you? With your khakis and your polo shirt.
I know, I know.
Fuck.
What were you thinking? Like, yeah, it was just I feel really bad because somebody died and a lot of people were hurt, and
Yeah,
I can't change that though.
no.
So all I can do is look at the farce of the whole situation and go, what the hell are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that there are people who feel like they're being oppressed, and I'm
And don't worry.
sorry that's happening, but
Yes, I am making fun of the Unite the Right people, but guess what? I will make fun of the Starbucks comrades at the same time. The
uh-huh.
coffee house comrades.
I've not heard of that.
Oh,
I'm sheltered.
it's the people who spout off, the great value of communism and equality
Oh
of
God.
outcome, all from their, MacBook Pro in the middle of Starbucks.
Yes. That's what gets to me. It's like people are getting so pissed too, and they're all on Facebook getting mad
Hmm.
and yelling at others. I mean, how many people are actually out there doing anything?
Well,
We don't like the situation.
hopefully less, because the people who are going out there and doing anything they're the biggest problem.
True. Well, no, not necessarily.
For
I
the-
won't say that everybody
Not
doing
everybody,
something
no.
is
No,
a problem.
I'm gonna say most of them are.
Well, you can say that. I think, again, I tend to be optimistic, and I think most people are not out to cause harm, so.
Yeah, well,
Uh-huh.
I would need to see the benefits of protest before I could attribute anything positive to it.
Well, what about Rosa Parks sitting on the bus?
What about it?
That was a protest.
Sort of. Not exactly the same equivalent that we're speaking of. That was an act of defiance. It wasn't.
What's the difference?
It was illegal. She went to jail.
Yeah.
It was a statement. Protest is
Mm-hmm.
legal. It's usually a sign and a designated area to stand in. You might get heard, but not really.
Well, these people in Charlottesville did.
Yeah,
They got heard. Not the way they wanted to be heard.
I was gonna say one of them really got heard,
Yeah.
and he wasn't protesting.
Nope.
That's the thing, and we can go through many examples of both sides doing illegal shit. It doesn't help anything. None of them are spirits
We totally.
that I know
Yes.
of.
We're like squirreling. This is the
Yeah.
worst squirreling ever.
It's so
We have
bad.
not stayed on topic at all.
No, we usually
Oh
don't.
well. No, we don't usually.
So
That's okay.
it's fine.
It's always,
It's fine.
we stayed on topic for homeschooling.
Yeah,
We did.
for the most
We
part.
managed to.
It's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what? Spirit's not real. That's my ending statement to it.
Spirits, I am open to it being a possibility.
Yeah. And then oh, no.
Yeah, I don't really know. Go ahead. I don't really know. Like, I don't have an ending for this. It's just kind of a.
Yeah, my ending was spirit not real.
There you go.
Unless-
End it right there.
Unless you show me otherwise. Until then,
Yeah.
we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Later.